I'm Jo, and I'd like to tell you about a trip that I took to Ireland in 2019. To get to Ireland, I took a train from London, and then I took a ferry. The ferry was from the Welsh port of Holyhead. The ferry took a couple of hours. This is me coming into the port of Dublin, past the Peat Bog lighthouse. It was a beautiful day. So I arrived into the port of Dublin, and from Dublin, I took a train to the town of Sligo on the west coast. My friends collected me and took me to stay at their house, where I had a few different adventures, including visiting this mountain, which is called Bulban, which I've seen or had seen from a distance a lot of times, but I'd never been there. My friends took me to their house, and these were my housemates. These are 3 wren chicks, which had recently hatched, and they were my neighbours in the barn which I was staying in. They were very sweet and very quiet, and their parents were very busy feeding them. We went on lots of walks on the beaches. This is a beach at low tide. This is also low tide, and in the distance you can see the mountain of Bulban. And here you can see Seaweed, which I'll talk about a bit later. You can see the weather's a bit dull. The following day, the weather was gorgeous and my friends went swimming. It was freezing, I didn't go. These are Atlantic surf beaches where the temperatures were very low. And the following day, this was the weather again. This is part of Bulban in the mist, and you can't even see the top, but it's where I was aiming for. This is the day when I finally got to climb Bulban in the glorious sunshine. Still with a cold wind if you weren't sheltered though. At the bottom of Bulban, there are lots of peat bogs. And this black stuff, this is turf. They cut the turf from the peat bog and it is used as fossil fuel. It's probably about at least 1,000 years old. And in order to get over here, to start going on the trail to get up Bulban, I cut through the bog and I got a bit stuck. Fortunately, I didn't get as stuck as this poor animal, which must also have got stuck in the bog with water up to their knees and not able to escape. Here I am halfway up by a beautiful stream. And at the top, there are still pools of water and the ground is quite boggy. There are lots of sheep that graze on Bulban, so they use these drinking pools for them. And here I finally got to the top and I had this incredible view, looking all the way out to the Atlantic Ocean over the forest below. When I got home that evening, it was time for me to have a bath. I had been constructing a project. I got the idea from when I was in New Zealand for a bush bath. So I cleaned up this bath and filled it up with water and had an incredible nighttime bathing experience under the stars. This is the bath before I cleared it up. This is the bath when it was clean and when I was filling it up and had set fire to heat up the water. This is the bath when I had set up some screens around the edge and the candles. And here is the seaweed that I was talking about earlier. So we harvested some seaweed from the beach and it's full of minerals and oils which are really good for your skin. And here is the final product. This is what I lay in for a couple of hours under the stars. Yes, it is a metal bath and that is very hot. And I sat on a piece of wood in the bath, so I didn't get burnt. This is a video I took through the mist and the smoke of my feet covered in seaweed while I was lying in the bath. Another project I had with my friends was to make elderflower wine. I picked these from the elderflower bush and we added lots of different ingredients, including lemons and some ginger, which we let ferment for a couple of weeks. After it fermented, we strained it through the muslin cloth, which is here, and we bottled it all up for parties later. Speaking of alcohol, I'm sure you've all either been to or heard of Ireland's famous pubs. This is the pub bar in one of my favourite Irish pubs, which is actually in Moscow. I spent a lot of time there when I lived in Moscow. Near my friend's house, there is a pub, and every weekend they have a traditional session. It's called a trad session. people bring instruments and they dance and they recite poetry and they have a drink and they have a great time together, which is exactly what we did. Thank you for joining me on my journey both up and down Ben Bulban, and also for coming to the pub with me. Looking forward to seeing you next time. Bye!